I'm already in love with this car. But actually, in all honesty, I've always been in love with this car and cars like it. Because the 911's iconic, isn't it? I had pictures of these kind of things on my bedroom wall when I was a kid. But then so did everybody else, and that's why today values have gone through the roof. But this one, this specific car, the SC or Super Carrera, actually took quite a long time to catch up with some of the other models in terms of that value increase. It was relatively unloved for a long period of time. I find it strange though, because this is a great car. Nowadays, an SC in good condition could cost you over 40 grand. But Mike paid far less than that for this unfinished project car. And for that reason, I'm a little bit worried about what I'm going to find when I start poking around in this one. But either way, I've got to get this big jigsaw puzzle back together, make this car worthy of that iconic 911 name once more, but also turn it into a car that people are wanting to get behind the wheel of every single day. Now, the front wings on a 911 are pretty exposed. They take stone chips from the front and they've got very little in the way of protection underneath. And so they suffer with rust like this one has. Now, my issue is that these cost £1,600 to replace them with new ones, and I might need 2 of them. I can't afford to do that, so I'm going to have to carry out some repairs. But the issue is, it's so heavily corroded in this area, there's nothing for me to gauge exactly what form the new repair panel should take. Luckily, the right-hand panel isn't corroded in the same area, so I can use that to make a template using layers of masking tape, and then simply reverse it to create the exact shape I need for the left wing. Right, there's our repair panel, and this is our template, which I'm going to draw around to get the shape that I need to cut out of the steel here. With my template marked out, I can cut the rough shape out with an angle grinder. Right, now that I've got my flat, two-dimensional repair panel, I'm going to use the metalworking tools, a dolly and planishing hammer, to really turn this into a nice 3D shape that'll eventually go back onto the wing. Now, if you have a look at the repair panel, having put this fold in it has done that to the piece of metal. It's put this curve in it, and that curve is in entirely the wrong direction to the way we actually want it to go. It should form that sort of shape. So I'm going to use one of my favourite machines, the shrinker stretcher machine, which is going to shrink this edge and put the correct curve back in it and make it perfect again. The top and bottom jaws of the shrinker grab the metal, and then when I press down on the foot lever, they draw it together and crimp it, gradually giving us the curved edge we need. All I've got to do now is punch some holes in so I can tack it in place. That's the first panel repair done, but I've got a feeling that was the easy part. And moving on to the front end of this wing, it's got quite a lot of damage, quite a lot of stone chips, quite a lot of filler, and actually quite a few previous repairs that haven't all been done that well. I think I'm going to have to replace this whole section right around here, definitely up here as well, and possibly even along that side there. It's time to make another template, but the awkward curves around the headlight mean that I'm going to have to break my repair down into smaller parts, and then jigsaw the panel together. I think we could probably split that one through here. That can split across there. Probably this one will come down here. It's quite a complicated one, this, you know. It's going to be quite tricky. I know we're saving £1,600 by not buying a new wing, but this is turning into an enormous amount of work. And to be worthy of that car, this has got to be absolutely spot on. We've bought ourselves a G-body Porsche 911 at a bargain price of 27 grand. But it's no easy doer-upper. It's in pieces. We're rebuilding it and turning it into a reliable daily driver. It's taken me about 4 hours, but I've finally finished fabricating a replacement panel for the front wing. Well, it's coming on, but it's been an enormous amount of work. In fact, so much so that at times I've actually questioned whether £1,600 for a brand new one might have been worth it. I've cut the old piece out, but as you can see, it's such a complex shape that there is no way really I could make a new one of those out of one piece of metal by hand. So I've cut it up into sections, and the first two pieces are in. I mean, just look at this one final piece. How much work is involved in the multiple different contours just in that one little section. However, it's on, it's done, and all I've got to do now is tack it into position, and then I can weld it up, grind down the welds, fill it, and make it look beautiful again. Once the panel's been welded, I can offer it up to the car to check it'll do the job. Oh, yes. Look at that. I mean, there's a long way to go. There's still loads more work to do with this, but it's starting to look more like a Porsche again, isn't it? Now, once I've finished this, the next job on the list is to get that engine out and start having a look at that. But I'm really pleased with this. To access our 911's flat six engine, I first need to take the back wheels off and get it up on the ramp. Flat six air-cooled engines in these are pretty much bulletproof. And I've got to say, when I drove the car, it felt great out on the road. But there's no getting away from the fact it's done 140,000 miles. And at that sort of mileage, I mean, anything could be going on inside, worn camshafts or timing chains. It's probably why, in fact, specialists say they should always have a rebuild around 100,000 miles. And given how easy they are to drop out the back of these cars, it feels like a no-brainer to get it out, strip it down, and give it a good inspection. With the oil drained, anti-roll bar out of the way, and various wires, pipes and hoses disconnected, I can lower the car back down so the engine's sitting on my hydraulic table. Okay, just two remaining engine mount bolts, and then I can lift this car off this enormous lump of an engine. There we go, easy as that.